Good morning, everybody. Oh, I need to keep my voice down because we're on a campsite. I just want to give a shout out to Cold Dark North, who have helped me, well, with some guidance on today's route. It's not exactly the same route that they sent me on Instagram, but it's pretty close. Theirs is actually logistically better. Mine is a little bit more, well, random. Okay, we're ready to go. My bike setup today is pretty much the same as it was yesterday. So, training setup, effectively. Running my training wheels from Black Ink with Hutchison Fusion 5s, all season tyres. These have lasted freaking ages. They've literally lasted like probably far longer than any other road tyre I've ever used, probably a year and a half, and on the mileage I do, that's a long time. Got my spares, got my backlight, got the camera on the front, and got a bottle here rather. That's the training setup, a very basic run through of what I'm riding currently while I'm out and about. Obviously when I'm racing, the only difference is I swap the wheels over and I just have a faster setup, and I try and clean the bike. Earlier in this ride, the last video, which is just me riding around the Lake District, and now we are on to the race video of Whinlatter Pass. I'm actually on Whinlatter Pass now. I've ridden it twice today just to get a feel for it. And a really handy tip if you're trying to get used to a climb, if you're doing a hill climb, or if you're just trying to get better at pacing a climb, is to ride up the hill in just one gear. If you're on like a fixed gear, you would 100% get a feel for where the gradient is easing off and where the gradient is kicking up. If you ride in one gear, you can feel that more. But also, don't neglect coming down the hill, because I often find that when you come down a hill, especially like corners and things, you can get a different perspective at higher speeds of where the gradient is obviously at its steepest and where it's at its shallowest. But check out the view. It's beautiful here, right? It's very nice. And I've been up here now for 2 days. I've been staying at a nice campsite, Burns, I think it's Burns Camping and Caravanning. There's like pods there, like it's very nice. It's good facilities. So far it's been a wonderful couple of days with a little bit of fatigue in the legs, but a training block that is needed. And what better excuse than to do it while I'm here in the Lake District. I even managed to take Whinlatter Pass KOM today, which I was going for it, I'm not gonna lie, but that was spectacular. You can see more footage of that in the last video. Alright, successful food shop, and now I'm gonna set up the van for the night and do a bunch of other things, like probably edit yesterday's video. Got a couple of phone calls to make, and yeah, I just need to do like general stuff to prepare for tomorrow, like pacing analysis, have a look at my data from today's ride, and then try and, you know, figure out a game plan for tomorrow's hill climb. My good friend Bryn recommended this to me from, I got this from Go Outdoors. So there's 3-pin plugs here and there's 2 USBs, and it all sort of unravels, so I can put this inside the van and then I can just hook it up and get some electricity so I can, yeah, do laptop stuff and generally just keep doing the stuff I need to do on the road. I brought it in last night because obviously I didn't really need to charge anything during the night, and it was raining, so that's why it was all bundled in the back. Towel drying. It's like 9 degrees, I don't think they're going to dry, but it's worth 5 stars for the effort. It's those mountains over there. Oh yes, some over there as well. Those mine. Quite a few people have arrived now actually. There's some great facilities here. I took a quick couple of clips when it was quiet of like the showers, changing room, toilet area. And there's a laundry room, there's washing machines, there's a freezer, there's a big like washing up area, and there's even a place to wash your bike and wash your dog. Right, everyone's settling down for the night, so that's my cue to start making food and making a lot of noise. So when I went to the supermarket earlier today, this is what I bought. A simple pasta dish. This one is just a simple ham and cheese tortellini. I should probably have got some like greens to go with this. But it'll just get the job done tonight. Good morning. It's definitely colder this morning. Well, it's a lovely morning as you can see, so I am not going to waste it. I'm going to go out for a ride, probably about 2 hours, nice and easy, and to be honest I've just got the time to. It'll actually be a good warm up as well for the hill climb which starts at 2. Okay, here we are again at another hill climb. Am I blurred? I don't know. No, I'm not blurred. Well, I'm not now anyway. Parked on some random people's street, which is something I don't like doing, but comes with the territory of doing British hill climbs, so it seems. Usually because the headquarters are never, tend to never be big enough to actually hold, 70 or 80 cars that show up with participants. I had a good ride this morning. Managed to clean the bike almost instantly thanks to the facilities at the place I was staying, and I put the race wheels on and put the lights on and last minute checks and stuff before I left, so that I don't have to kind of faff around and do it here. And hopefully it stays dry, although there's rain forecast and the skies look a little bit moody over there. And now hopefully it stays dry because I won't have to faff around hoping that I don't puncture before the start, which tends to increase weirdly when rain comes and washes a lot of debris onto the road. I'm hoping to get out on the bike again though. I mean, I did 2 hours this morning, and you know, part of it is obviously I'm still training through a lot of these races, so I'm never coming into them fully fresh or in top form, I suppose. I'm obviously in top shape fitness wise, but not quite form, so I'm kind of riding the edge of that and consciously trying to keep training load ticking over, as opposed to letting it drop and then having to sort of scramble later on down the line. So that's why I've been riding the last 2 days fairly densely, and then this morning to add a bit of volume, even though, you know, we've got the hill climb this afternoon. To be honest, with rides like that, you always want to come back from them feeling better than you did when you left. Otherwise the ride was either too hard or it was too long. You want to feel better off for doing the ride than worse off. And to be honest, I don't even think about power, heart rate, effort, anything like that. I just ride to how I feel on rides like that, because I've just learned that's the best way. So I picked up a coffee from Keswick. There was a cafe there. I had loads of comments from you lot in the last video saying that I couldn't pronounce, or rather I was saying Keswick and I was saying Winrose, and I should have been saying Rhinos, not pronouncing the W. You don't pronounce the W, so it's Keswick. Now you'd think someone coming from Wales who has Llangollen and Llandyfri and Llanfairpwll, I can't even say that town in North Wales, but coming from a country where a lot of people, if you're not from outside Wales, can say the town names, then yeah, I'm disappointed in myself. I got my coffee anyway, so that's the main thing. I've had plenty of food. I don't need to eat now really, apart from maybe a Sturka gel. 30 grams of carbs nearer the time. And yeah, just do the hill. Simple as that. To be honest, I feel like I've got nothing to lose in this effort today. I'm just gonna give it everything. I know I always say that, I always do that, but given that I've come all this way and, you know, I've kind of morphed it into a training weekend, yeah, I don't have anything to lose. So I think I'm just gonna attack it from the bottom and finish like empty. And the nature of this climb, as you'll see in the footage, is it definitely starts off, you know, with the majority of the hill comes in that first 4 minutes. If the winning time is around 6-7 minutes, then that first 4 minutes is on what you would call a hill, and then it flattens off to like 3%, and then it kicks up for like the last 30 seconds to the line. So where you would gain or lose the majority is in that first section. So I've ridden the climb a couple of times now, so I know it, and you can really attack it. It feels like a climb that you can like really sort of like launch into the little ramps, and like there's momentum to be gained and had in places. Plus, you know, last week we were very close to the win in that second race after Haytor, and I surprised myself by doing, you know, quite close to my best 5-minute power, even after doing a big hill climb before that. So that's why I say it's all to play for today. It's all like there's nothing to lose. If I finish second again today, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that I should commit now to this race today, because it's a month out from the national championships, and by committing fully to the effort and maybe even, you know, playing with blowing up in that last minute or so, just so that I can potentially go faster overall throughout the whole climb by going hard at the start, then there's a chance that I could pull off the win today. So it's worth risking it all for the win when I feel like it's really close. And, you know, if I come second, it doesn't matter. Like I said, if I come third, it actually doesn't matter. It feels like there's no pressure on me at all, and today could be a chance to, you know, to get that first place against, you know, very, very good competition. So, and it would be handy to do a month out from the nationals. It's all about the timing, you know, things like this. It's like, you know, there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of, you know, your body as well as your mind. And I'm ranting for too, I'm talking for too long now, but like, you know, I hope you understand my methodology, like where I'm coming from. It would mean a lot to do a good effort today, and then subsequent weeks coming up, you know, potentially I've got less pressure on myself because I know that I've done something here, but you can never tell until you actually get into it. So yeah, maybe everything I've just said is a lot of crap.
God blimey, you lot are probably bored of my voice by now. Thank you for making it this far into the video. We're like 15 minutes in or something like that. And I appreciate it if you're sticking around, which, you know, if you made it this far, then you obviously have and you're enjoying it. And if you are, then please make sure to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying this journey to the British Hill Climb Championships, then yeah, consider subscribing if you're new, because I'm going pretty deep into the prep in this, and hopefully it's coming across okay. So this is another shot from the race. Only this time it's not on my chest, so I can't get given a hard time for that. This is from under the handlebars. And now this, ironically, is not as stable, the footage, as a GoPro. So, yeah, I can't really do much about that, I'm afraid. But still, it's some footage nonetheless. So this climb then, Whinlatter Pass. It is 2.7 kilometers, an average gradient of just under 7%. Where we actually start, though, is not at the very bottom. We weirdly start like just before like quite a shallow section. You can see it's like 5% here. So we kind of miss out like a really steep bit at the bottom. I don't really know why, but we do actually end up finishing right at the top, right at the summit. Weather-wise, I think it was fairly favourable. It was a little bit damp. It was just starting to rain when I was riding, and there was a little bit of debris on the course, but nothing really major. And wind-wise, it was fairly light wind. I wouldn't have said it hindered us in any way. I actually finished in a time of, I think, about 6 minutes 20 seconds. I was only like 1 or 2 seconds, I think, provisionally off the course record of Tom Bell, which was done a couple of years ago. And yeah, provisionally very happy with that. But also more than happy to take the win today, which I'm pretty sure you've already seen. But if you haven't, yes, I did take the win with this effort and committed effort up Whinlatter Pass, which I'm incredibly proud of. As I was saying in the chat just preceding this clip, I don't need to go into any more detail. You know, you heard pretty much all you needed to hear in that clip. My mindset was pretty much locked and loaded into this. So yeah, but just to talk you through the climb, it's quite undulating. You see there's this section here which is a little bit steeper than the section we were on previously. Well, technically it's double. We're going from 5 to 6% to 12, 13%. We'll go past an ice cream van here on the right hand side, which is a really nice lookout on a good day. In fact, it's where I stopped at the start of this video, or near where I stopped at the start of this video, and came past here, and it just starts to level off ever so slightly. And the gradient does this all the way up virtually. Like, it goes between sort of 3%, 6%, 10%, 13%. There's lots of changes. Like, so you can ride it, like, I'm going to throw up my graph now for you to see just in a second, but you can ride this climb in various different ways. You could like flat pace this climb, so you could just stick to like what you think you can do for, you know, 6.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever the time is. You're going to be doing 10 minutes even. You can just flatline it the whole way, and you would still finish empty. But the question would always be, could you gain a second here and there? Could you lose a second here or there? Could you afford to lose a second here or there? So in this section now, for argument's sake, this is the last section before you crest. And on that graph, you would have seen my speed really pick up like near the end in this sort of last sort of 70 to 90% of the climb. My speed goes through the roof because that's the 2 to 3% section. So to gain time there, or to gain virtual time there, I would have had to have put in way more power. So really speaking, I wanted to invest way more power here, and I happened to catch 2 riders here on this final steep section. So we're about 4 to 5 minutes into the effort here now, and this is where I decided to get out the saddle. So I've been seated the whole time, which is my style anyway, but I see a couple of friends here, Lee and Paul, they give me a big cheer there, and I get out the saddle. I know this is like, basically this is my hill climb effort right here. This is the effort that counts. And I managed to average close to something like 500 watts for about 30 seconds here as I crest this last steep bit, and I'm fully committed to this being like a 4 to 5 minute hill climb. I didn't even think about this hill climb as a 6.5, 7 minute hill climb. This was where I basically wanted to get to the top of this, and I wanted to be flapping. I wanted to be struggling at the top of this little plateau. So I come past this rider. If I'd have caught this rider, number 27, just a little bit further on, like maybe just here, then I would have had a really nice sort of slingshot into the slipstream and then around that rider, just to sort of give myself that maybe 1 or 2 km/h extra speed. But anyway, I come into this section with a nice little buffer of speed here, and it's getting close to, you know, 35 km/h. And once I get there, I know, well, there's very little work to do now. I just need to sort of just gently caress the power to keep it, you know, somewhat high. And this is where, you know, being able to ride at 360, you know, maybe even 400 watts and still almost quote-unquote recovering is a fine art. You know, it doesn't feel like you're recovering because you're still gasping from the big effort that you've just done because you've gone very, very deep. But it's a fine art where you have to you do have to feel like, yes, I still am recovering, you know, I'm not riding as hard as I was, so technically I'm still, you know, my heart rate is still dropping ever so slightly, and I'm still recovering. So I come into this last little bit knowing that that's all I've got to do now is kick really hard for 30 seconds. So we come into this little dip, and I just back off ever so slightly on the power, you can see, as we gain speed up to 40k an hour, and then once I hit this ramp, I know, right, let's just get up the saddle and let's just aim for the little crest here. But you don't actually finish at the crest, as typical of most of these hill climbs. Like the courses, they usually end just a couple of 100 yards after the crest of the climb. So I get over the top here and I just plonk myself back in the saddle, and I just spin out the gear, and I just basically, less thinking about like changing gear and sprinting to the end, I just get my head down and I just go for it towards the finish, and there's Sharon getting me crossing the line, and I executed perfectly.
Well, just like that, we are back in the van. I got my trusty Yazoo to drink post hill climb. We've had a heck of a day today actually. 2 hours of riding this morning, half an hour warm up, and I felt mint in the warm up, I have to admit. And then the hill climb, I just went into it with the mindset to just cane it. So, this is my direct thoughts afterwards. Obviously you've heard my thoughts like during the effort and walking you through that, but I couldn't have gone any better today, I think. Paced it perfectly, executed what I said I would, and attacked the parts of the climb that I knew would make the difference and would, you know, make me conquer the climb as fast as I possibly can. I don't know where I've come, but I'm going to head back to HQ and find out, but I will see you in the next clip. I'm chair chipped.
Oh no. Oh dear. Did you stop at all?
No. So I just wanted to finish this video off by just quickly checking in with you all and kind of giving my thoughts on how today went and how it will affect me in the coming weeks, because there's 4 weeks now until the National Hill Climb Championship, and today really was an accumulation of many things and really was just a big confidence booster. What I've put in, the work I've put in over the last few weeks, last few months, that has led to this moment that I know that over the next few weeks will give me the momentum. I feel now that this has come at a good moment for me to have like a bit of a breakthrough performance. Like today was my first effort I've done in a good few weeks where I've managed to go over that 5 minute mark, you know, going almost towards 7 minutes today at 430 watts, which is close to what I was doing a couple of weeks before I won the Nationals in 2019. So I'm knocking on the door in terms of performances to where I need to be. Today has given me a really good dose of faith and confidence and direction, and that's really important. So I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.